I'm Steph Garcia with D1.ticker and Collegiate Sports Connect, and I'm joined by Cleveland State Athletic Director Scott Garrett to discuss the open Deputy AD for External Operations role with the Vikings. Thanks for joining me, Scott.
Steph, it's good to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Of course. This is a huge role for the Vikings. It's going to require a very broad portfolio of external skills. Cleveland State has recently released a strategic plan. There is a lot going on in your department. What skills are most valuable right now for this candidate to have?
Yeah, that's a great question, Steph. I think we're looking for somebody that's really well-rounded from both a strategic and a tactical standpoint, right? I mean, given the nature of departments this size, you have to be able to roll up your sleeves and dig in and do a lot of day-to-day implementation of some of the strategies that are in our plan, but then also step away from that up to more of the 30,000 foot view and provide strategic leadership and counsel for making sure that we're delivering our broader strategies within our strategic plan. And so you do a little bit of both, and we need somebody who's comfortable doing that work that can really guide strategic projects, but also when it's necessary, step in and implement some of those plans on a day-to-day basis as well.
One quality under the preferred qualifications is to have experience at some of the sub-levels of Division I. You yourself have that kind of background with Kansas State, Wichita State, Illinois, Chicago. Why is that important for this role and for where Cleveland State is right now and where it's going in the future?
Yeah, certainly the preference would be to find somebody that has made progress from a marketing and branding and revenue generation standpoint at places where you don't have a vast network of or history of really substantial financial support, whether that's your operating budget or the number of people that are on your external team, or the number of donors or ticket holders that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. So, certainly preference of somebody that's had to really work hard to grow at a place, that their experience isn't just all professional or Power 5 sports background. Although that ideally we'd find somebody that's dabbled in that as well, that has diverse experience from all of those angles, that they know how to do it at a really high level, but have done it with limited resources as well.
Let's talk leadership style a little bit, because this person will be directly underneath you. What are some traits and qualities that you value most in someone that you're going to lean upon so much?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. One is, making progress by not having a lot of day-to-day direction, right? They know that I'm available and here for them as they need help or assistance or clarification or questions on driving some of our day-to-day priorities forward, but they're able to understand the vision, or maybe they'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they can figure out how to get there or get the team to help us get there. And so the ability to do that without a lot of, hey, here's your list for today or this week, that they kind of understand how to get from A to Z on their own. Second is the ability to lead up, right? Knowing when do you need the athletic director's support and influence, and what are some things that maybe they're able to see around the corner and advise me on from a decision-making standpoint, to alert me or put it on my plate that, hey, this issue may be coming up, whether that's within the sport administrator responsibilities or making progress from a revenue generation standpoint. Hey, we need additional resources to be able to get this done, or we're not going to be able to deliver this because of this obstacle, and we need your help to remove that obstacle or overcome that obstacle. So somebody who's got the wherewithal to really escalate those things and know when's the right time to update and then ask for help.
Sticking on that point for a little bit, obviously this is the highest external position under you. You have a very strong external background. If I'm a candidate looking at this role and I'm a little worried of, Scott is so strong here, what kind of leash am I going to be on? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question, right? Anybody that goes to work for an athletic director, whether they've been primarily in fundraising or compliance, or if you're working in that particular role, it's certainly fair to have those concerns. I would say that the time that is available for me to really get super involved from the external standpoint, as long as things are going really, really well and we can have conversations about what are different ways for us to reach our goals. I'm a pretty trusting supervisor and leader that, I'll have questions here and there, and they might come via text or a daily update or that sort of thing. But ultimately trust our senior leadership team to go execute those plans. And so as long as we've had those conversations on the front end, that doesn't mean I'm not going to come up with crazy ideas here or there. And then it's their responsibility to tell me, hey, that's really crazy. And, we're overworked and we don't have the bandwidth for that right now. Or, yeah, we can go execute that and we hear you. So if somebody's looking for that type of environment where I'll provide ideas and questions of, here are some different ways that we could get there and kind of test and push, it can be a really great environment to have some success in.
Let's dig in a little bit on men's basketball because that is a key program for the Vikings. If I'm a candidate who has maybe been part of an external team involved with a strong men's basketball program, I've seen how the sausage is made, but I really haven't had my fingerprints on the program itself as a sport administrator or as the lead fundraiser for that program. Am I still kind of qualified to come in here and take the reins? What would you say to a candidate like that?
Yeah, I would say we're more focused on the ability of the candidate to leverage men's basketball into revenue growth, whether that's through corporate partnerships or fundraising or season ticket growth or individual promotional plan execution, getting our students to games, getting the campus community engaged. So as long as there's been exposure or some success stories in those elements of how do you leverage your premier sport program into long-term success for the department, and they're able to articulate that, that's something that we're very interested in. We can bring somebody up to speed in terms of working with men's basketball as a secondary sport administrator or being involved in some of the administrative decision-making as it comes to scheduling or other elements, getting to know our student athletes, those sorts of things. But primarily the priority would be to find somebody who's had some success and certainly significant exposure to revenue growth and fan engagement through that premier sport.
This role will have the opportunity for sport oversight. The job description says 3 to 4 programs potentially. Is men's basketball one of those programs? And is there a possibility that this position will be very ingrained into that program?
Yeah, great question. This person will certainly be very involved in assisting me with administration of our men's basketball program. So our structure here is from a sports supervision standpoint, I've got primary responsibility for men's and women's basketball and women's volleyball. And then we take our other 15 sports and split those amongst several senior staff members. Tyler Jones, who left for Northwestern, was great in this role and great as a sport administrator. He had lacrosse, men's soccer, and men's and women's tennis. We're not necessarily married to those specific sports. It'll depend on what that person that comes and joins our team has exposure to or what their background is, and how does that balance with our other sport administrators on the senior leadership team.
So my last question for you is, I've been to Cleveland, I've been to beautiful Ohio, but if I'm a candidate who has never been, sell me on living in Cleveland and the opportunities both for Cleveland State athletics, but also just for me as a person and a family. What is the beauty of living in Cleveland?
Yeah, I think Cleveland's really a hidden gem. And for folks that have not been here before, that they'll, just like when you came, Steph, a few months ago, I think people that come here, whether it's a campus visit to look at the school, or they're a prospective student athlete and come on a recruiting visit, or folks that are just coming through Cleveland for the first time, people in Cleveland are very proud. Those that have grown up here really have a chip on their shoulder about how great Cleveland is, and they're right. It's certainly a small town feel in a big city, right? Where I think the 18th or 19th largest media market in the country. We've got pro sports with the Guardians and the Cleveland Browns and the Cavaliers, all of whom we have really great relationships with. We've got the second largest theater district in the country outside of Broadway. It's called Playhouse Square here And you're joining a university that's on a significant growth path from an enrollment standpoint, and just the vision that we have under President Sand's leadership, and what we desire to look like as an institution, and how athletics is going to contribute to that. We've got a lot to offer, whether you're somebody that's single and you're looking to live downtown, or somebody with a family and you want to live in the suburbs. It's really a great place to be, and a great time to be here.
Do you have any final thoughts for potential candidates looking at this role? I mean, this is an exciting one.
Yeah, it is exciting. I would say if you're interested in growing and having future opportunities in the industry, and somebody certainly that potentially wants to be an athletics director someday, would speak to what I would like to do from a mentorship standpoint into this role. And we're all about trying to get people to reach their goals and have fun while they're here doing it. And we're wide open. So the position's been open for about 6 weeks. We've got some folks that are in the interview cycle, but we are actively looking for other candidates, and we're open to folks that meet the criteria, and interested in talking to anybody that has an interest in coming on board.
Fantastic. Well, we are so excited to follow along, and wish you the best of luck in filling this role. Go Vikings.
Go Vikes. Thanks.
Thank you.